Is this the video when you'll finally get to see some real building work being done at the ruin? Not just paperwork and gardening? Yes, it is. You waited so patiently, and now it's happening. Reconstructing this house will not be done in a minute though, so you'll still have to be patient. This is a long process. But it's starting. February 2025. We had returned for yet another trip to the Amalfi Coast, staying as usual in the village of Minori, a 10 minutes walk from our ruin. And this time it felt like a giant leap forward, because while we were away, the work on the site had started. As most of you know, 3 years had passed since we had our first visit to the ruin. It took us half a year to get to buy it, after which we spent a few months planning, drawing and putting together a building application. Nearly a year and a half went into waiting for the building permit, and after the permit finally arrived, we'd waited another 6 months until our preferred workers were ready to start. There were periods during this time when it felt like this was never going to happen, and we wondered if the project was more a figment of our imagination than an actual realistic undertaking. But now the site was set up, materials and tools had been helicoptered in, the guys had started working. It was happening. A little side note, there will be quite a bit of Italian spoken in this episode. As per usual, we've made subtitles, and they seem to work better if you choose UK English as your subtitle language. But as we've experienced that they still don't work for everyone, this time we're burning them into the video, when other languages than English are spoken. Probably a bit annoying for those of you who'll get them double up, but helpful for those who for various reasons can't get the regular subtitles to work. But now, off to the building site. We are back. We've been back so many times hoping that work was about to start, and it wasn't. But now the building site has been set up. And I really hope that they put up that board saying that the building site is officially open, because if they haven't, no cartello. That was disappointing. Gate is open though. I know what that means. Oh, here's a cartello. Look, that's us. Okay, we're on. Not so fast. I see something. Don't know what it is, but I think it's some sort of scaffolding or fences. I don't know. Let's see. The building site was definitely up and running. And in the last couple of weeks, the guys had removed huge piles of soil and stones from the rooms that are placed directly on the ground. Not because we want to expand the space, but in order to avoid humidity trouble, we need to dig out nearly 1/2 meter of soil and rock to make room for a system of plastic stools that goes underneath our floors and creates a ventilated layer between the ground and our floor, called an igloo system. These small igloos are placed directly on the ground. We pour concrete over them, place our tiles or stone on top of the concrete layer, and end up with the same floor level as before we start digging, but without the damp ground creating trouble. On the ground floor level, not only the floors would need to be dug out and remade, but also the foundations were up for a serious reinforcing, making sure they would be up for the task of holding the whole house stable and solid. Allora, saliamo.
Vai Maurizio. Attenzione alla testa.
Attenzione alla testa. Quindi poi dopo facciamo un primo massetto di cemento per poter fare le pareti in cemento tutto intorno per andare a solidificare tutto il fabbricato, perché dobbiamo andarlo comunque a rinforzare.
Si può usare cemento in questi luoghi?
Per il consolidamento sì, usiamo il cemento con una rete metallica.
Okay. And yes, for this part we need cement. The walls will be repaired with lime to let humidity move through, but for the reinforcement of the foundation construction, only cement will fill the requirements. I know some of you have thoughts on this, but here we need to trust our skilled craftsmen and follow the project description from our engineer as approved by the regional authorities. Back to the building plans. As usual, I have a few ideas, some less realistic than others. Vorrei fare una scala a chiocciola, chiocciola, qui.
Ah, per collegare due ambienti sopra sotto?
Che ne pensi? Si può? È difficile? Costa troppo?
Più che difficile è strutturalmente, che è un po' complicato.
Ma si può o è impossibile?
No, non è impossibile, dobbiamo consolidare il tutto e poi...
Dobbiamo comunque rinforzare tutto l'asse.
Sì.
Devo fare dei saggi per vedere un attimo questa situazione e valorizzare, per vedere un attimo...
Non è semplice.
No, lo so.
Non è semplice.
Però sarebbe molto utile per
collegare.
Sì.
Che diametro ha la scala?
Piccolina, sì, 1,10 m. Sì, il più piccolo che si può fare.
Sì.
Allora, cosa facciamo? Vediamo un po' se è possibile...
Facciamo le opere tenendo in considerazione questa possibilità. Però se facciamo questo possiamo fare questa parte qua di consolidamento e
lasciare questa parte qui.
Anche se la vedo complicata. Il problema è che dovremmo fare un cilindro in cemento armato. Cioè dovremmo fare proprio una scala portante.
Sì.
Che deve mantenere la struttura.
Sì, quello si può fare.
È complicato.
Se possibile sarebbe...
L'ideale.
Poi resterei però un pezzettino di arco.
Complicato.
Un po' complicato, sì.
Vabbè, ne pensiamo e poi vediamo.
Qua stiamo in roccia, quindi dobbiamo fare solo un collegamento con una parete in calcestruzzo armata con la rete. Qui andremo a fare la cerchiatura sia qua che sopra con architrave, come ci siamo detti.
Sì.
E questo è dal punto di vista come struttura, anche perché voglio dire, strutturalmente non ha grosse deficienze, il piano superiore che ha più deficienze rispetto a questo qua. Qua è solido, che ha spessori notevoli, quindi i terremoti ne avrà vista questa struttura. Quindi...
Penso proprio di sì.
Va bene. Allora, qua tutto a posto, non c'è...
Ok.
C'è da lavorare.
C'è da lavorare.
Va bene, saliamo. Moving up a level to look at the state of the possible future bathroom. Currently not good. Anche l'ingegnere non voleva entrare e poi è uscito
Sì,
perché
infatti,
non
perché
si sentiva.
tutto...
Quindi qua bisogna consolidare.
Perfetto.
O facciamo un bagno qui all'inizio oppure aspettiamo e facciamo prima qui sopra e poi dopo 2 anni facciamo quell'altro, perché dipende un po' quanto costa.
E qua entra il tappo,
Sì, è tutto verde, tutto,
sì, tutto verde.
come si chiama? Come si chiama questo qua? Muschio. Quindi forse è meglio consolidare, ma lasciarlo per un po' e fare le altre cose.
Benissimo.
Quindi,
sì, sicuramente lo mettiamo in sicurezza e poi dopo...
Sì.
Che vedi qua, questa è già un tipo di muratura diversa. Questa è già una pietra da cane tufo in effetti, e quella è una pietra naturale, quindi come se questa parte qua fosse o rifatta o...
The composition of the house and guessing which parts came first is a puzzle that occupies both Nicola the geometer, our contractor Maurizio, and me. It is obvious that the house is built over a long period of time adding one volume at a time, but it's absolutely not clear which part is the oldest and what has been added next. We will investigate further into this later on in future episodes. But first, meet some of our most essential workers, the mules. As you know, we are not connected to a road and won't be in any foreseeable future. Plus, we don't have a budget that will allow us to use helicopters for anything but the biggest and heaviest items. So we depend on manual transport for the building site materials, and this is where the mules are indispensable. They are well trained to navigate in the narrow steps and footpaths that connect the properties with the villages around here, and although using them certainly is not cheap, nor should it be, the efficiency still makes it worth it, compared to having the materials carried by us and the workers. So as long as we can be sure the mules are treated well, this is the best solution for transport for now. Another, maybe more realistic staircase from the former storage room behind what will one day be our kitchen and up to the upper level.
La scala per lì sopra la vorrei fare là. Penso che saliamo da questo livello qua, poi si fa così e finisce più o meno così sopra. Se comincio la scala su questo livello qui abbiamo solo bisogno di 2 metri. Sì. 2 metri sarà qua, quindi probabilmente possiamo solo lasciare questa cosa qua e facciamo il buco sotto.
Vediamo un attimo se abbiamo 70 cm.
L'alto lo vediamo.
Ci siamo quasi.
Sì, sì. Comunque si può fare una curvatura.
Sì, ma questo sì, consolidiamo questa parte qua, ci fermiamo, ci limitiamo qua, lasciamo i 70 cm da quel muro, sì. Consolidiamo tutta la volta. Quando abbiamo consolidato questa parte qua, facciamo una cerchiatura di questo vano qua e poi ci mettiamo a lavorare qua dentro per capire effettivamente quello che
sì.
As you may remember, one reason why the work was delayed was that we had no water or electricity. The water was solved temporarily by a neighbour offering us to use his water, but by now we had also been connected to the public water. Yay! The connection to the electricity net was still pending though. Solar panels are still not an option in this area due to heritage regulations, so for now we're using a generator to get the electricity that we need for the work, but hoping for the more permanent solution to be established soon. Back when the house was originally built, they luckily had access to water, but were doing just fine without electricity and other modern luxuries. And as work is progressing, the house starts revealing some of its building site secrets. Maurizio and his guys had left this pile in a corner.
Very porous.
And we couldn't really figure out what it was.
This is not rock. Looks more like render, but not that thick.
Nicola and Maurizio knew, of course.
Avrà 200-300 anni.
Sì, come minimo. È uscito qua dietro.
Ma dov'è?
Dietro a questo muro qua, abbiamo scavato qua dietro?
Solitamente, quando si apriva un cantiere,
buco di...
sì, quando si realizzava il cantiere, la prima cosa che si faceva era una vasca per poter metterci la calce viva da spegnere, che poi veniva utilizzata nella costruzione.
In the old building sites they needed calcare, lime for the building, and to make that material they dug a hole in the ground and they made it there. So this is an old lime pit. Is the best way to describe it. That's cool. Yeah.
One thing we love about the team we've found is that they're just as intrigued by the ruin and its history as we are. We all want to find the best way of restoring it into being a house again, and we're all equally thrilled when we find signs that may tell us something about how the house originally was composed and how it has developed over the centuries.
So I have a good feeling about this. I think the contractor he gives a very good impression. He doesn't feel, well, I feel I can trust him. He's quite honest about the time it takes and the complexity of it. So yeah, I feel quite confident. And he gets excited about the same things that I get excited about with the house. So they all do. Also the geometra. They all started nerding about old parts and new parts and kinds of stone and old building details, and I like that. It's going to take time though. They're quite open about that.
2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I think so. No less than 2. Absolutely not. Probably more. I did ask about the basement, the studio apartment there, how soon that could be finished, and they said next spring, which is in a little more than a year. They didn't want to rush it because the materials need time to dry properly.
Okay.
So yeah, so we won't have any problems with that later. And that will be good because then we can stay, instead of staying in a hotel, we can stay there every night when we come down.
Nice.
Yes, it's going to save us a little money. And also, since that part is quite, well, it's got its own space and its own outdoor space. It is possible, maybe, to start renting out that part, even when they're still working on the rest.
You think so?
Depending on the noise, because you don't want to rent a place with a really noisy building site behind you. So that's a possibility. It would be nice if it could start earning some for us. It's not like we don't need it. This is going to cost so much. Oh. So I'm hoping next time we'll come, next month, that they have started on the consolidation works. Right now they're digging out the floors to make space for the damp control system. And when they've done that, the digging at least, they will start working on reinforcing the walls and reinforcing the fundaments. What's that called? That? Foundations. On the bottom, in the basement, and also in the storage room behind the kitchen. Because that's all on standing on rock, so they need to reinforce it so it's solid. It is quite solid though, but they need to do that. What are all those sounds?
Something.
I think it's just a lizard. I hope it's just a lizard. There are snakes here, you know. I haven't seen any live ones. I've seen snake skins. I already looked up. I already did look up what plants snakes don't like, and it turns out they don't like plants with strong scents like mint and lavender.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
You
I
go
was
for
planning lavender all over anyway, and mint is nice. And lemongrass. Lemongrass was a snake repellent. I hope he's nice to them. I think he is.
I would say they look happy.
They look really happy. They're smiling. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.